So yeah, guys, here we are. We got Capt. Dickey with us, and we're out here on the Minorcan Mullet in a crazy northeast wind. I say crazy. There is a small craft advisory out that's supposed to start 20 minutes ago. This is probably going to be our last tow. This is what we make. That was our
third.
Third tow.
Yeah, so this will be our fourth.
So we got kind of an early start. We're able to get out and get things set. But what I want to talk to Wayne about is back in the old days, and this is kind of when I was involved in shrimping. And Wayne grew up in the sport, so and kind of doing this thing. But the regulations that have kind of enveloped this entire shrimp industry, late 90s, to some extent into the maybe in the 80s, but late 80s, early 90s, things really started to change for the industry. And we were talking back in the day when we were young. Believe it or not, there's not a big age difference between a lot more hard miles here. But we were talking this time of the year at the local docks here, the fish processing docks. It would be nothing to see 50 boats tied up.
Yep.
And those boats would have been coming from North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe scatter a few Florida boats, and then Georgia had its own very healthy shrimp fishing fleet. And today, the Port of Brunswick, with less than a dozen boats that are probably called Port of Brunswick their home port full time now.
Yep.
It's changed a lot from the days when he was really active and I was really active doing it. And we didn't. You're like me. You remember the days before the turtle excluder devices.
Yep.
And the regulations and the things that were kind of brought on with that. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I will tell you this. I have never caught a sea turtle that I didn't put back to the deck, off the deck alive. And now we would catch some that they didn't look viable, but you'd leave them on the deck during the drag, and they might kind of put them in the shade. And they would stay back there maybe for a couple hours where they get their wits back about them. And then sometimes we'd have to use a winch. I don't know if y'all ever saw that. We had to do that, but we used a winch to pick them up.
Some turtles
get
are
them
big.
on the rail,
Yep.
and then slide them over, and they would swim off.
Yep.
Not once did I ever put one back, or catch one and put it back dead. It just didn't happen. Those regulations came about, and they've really kind of changed the industry a lot. Of course, fuel prices are going up for these guys that are trying to make a living doing this, and I guess no one knows the future. I will say this: this guy right here is planning on making this part of his future. As we've kind of had a discussion, and once you get to the end of your professional career here, you want to get back on the water,
yep.
and this is something you're looking to do. So you're actively looking for a vessel that is certainly bigger than this one, but something you might be able to handle by yourself.
Something small that, the problems now, just like you said, the price of fuel is crazy. The price of repairs is, out the roof now. So anytime you break down, fixing it, is just harder. The price of shrimp hasn't gone up over the years. The pond raised shrimp floods the actual market. So the shrimp that's caught.
One of the big problems they have is the market.
Yeah.
The American shrimp market has such a huge influx of imports, and to be honest with you, I don't think that the quality is the same.
No.
We were discussing. You don't know how those shrimp are processed, wherever it is they're coming from. You don't know what the regulations are. Once they get here in a process, of course I understand that. But the part of the growing the shrimp, being in the pond raised
right.
shrimp, you don't understand. I don't fully understand all the regulations that those people are having to go through if they're going through anything. All right, Wayne, let's talk about your ideal shrimping boat.
Oh man.
Your Jenny.
My
your Jenny, if you
my
will.
Jenny. mean, an ideal shrimping boat for me would be a boat small enough to where I can drag in shallow water. I can work it by myself, because a lot of times your crewmen show up late, or they don't show up, or they're drunk, or they're on drugs, or who knows what. So something I can work by myself, something small, something that pull maybe 2 nets from the stern, or either 2 nets from the side, but I can work it by myself.
Right, gotcha.
With the automatic pilot, where I put on automatic pilot, cull out, come back up front. I mean, it's harder work, but then also I'd want something with a hole, so if I caught a bunch of shrimp, I could ice them down. Right. To where putting them down in coolers is great, but then you got to take them off every day.
Sure. So a conventional, being able to ice and keep them down in the shrimp hole, a fiberglass hole. Easy to work.
Nothing too big. Doesn't cost a lot of money to run it. It doesn't burn a lot of fuel. Something's got a little bit of power, you know. Obviously safety, something that's safe, something that's got kind of not a short gunnel, so you don't want to fall overboard, you know.
Once you get that, then we can start a whole new YouTube channel. that would be awesome.
Now, there's just a lot of stuff that goes into fishing. You know, you can't just go out into the ocean and drop a net and drag.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people think, oh, the ocean's huge, you can go wherever and drag. That's not the case. You know, there's hangs, there's sandbars, there's rocks, there's different obstructions under the water that people don't know about.
Not forget, there's somewhere out there's a guy he's got a badge. Typically, it's sewn on his shirt, sidearm.
Yep.
He's going to be in a very speedy boat, and he's going to kind of dictate to you where you can't.
Yep, there's regulations on when and where, and you know how far off the beach that you can drag, and so on and so forth. So it's not just grab a net in a boat and go out and drop it in the water and you get a bunch of shrimp.
Well, this is a great place to do it, that's for sure. You know, this part of Georgia, this area, we're protected a little bit. You know, we're the westernmost part of the eastern seaboard right here in Brunswick, Georgia. We're a little protected from the big storms. We still get them every now and then, but for the most part, we're kind of sheltered from the really big storms. Great place for fishing, that's for sure. And I look forward to it. I can't wait to see what where you progress with your plans to do this. This is going to be very interesting.
I mean, honestly, I would have loved to have done it as a career, but you know, with the way that my dad presented it to me, you have to make your own retirement. You're self-employed.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
It is seasonal.
You made the right choice.
Probably so. But I mean, graduating high school, leaving college,
Well, it's going to give you the opportunity. That time you invested in your professional career is going to give you a chance to get back and do something you love at a more leisurely pace.
Yep.
Where, if you don't catch anything, maybe not so.
Right, you're not relying upon it like you were if it was your job growing up. But it's still something that I was raised doing, and I've always enjoyed it. Being out on the ocean and working, it's
there's nothing like
enjoyable. So
Wayne and I were talking earlier, just being out on the boat, just taking in the sights. There's nothing else really like it, and it's very enjoyable. That's why I'm back to it.
Yep.
This is something that I enjoy doing, and yes, I have a commercial license, but no, I'm really not selling these. I give more away than anything else.
You probably eat more of them too, right?
We're having a good time with it. Well, hey guys, we're going to end this here because we're probably not far from picking up this last tow and go through this stuff and start making our way. We can see that the ocean's beginning to white cap out here a little bit, which I don't know if you guys can see that back there, but we're starting to get a little white capping out here. That's probably going to continue to pick up as we head on into the afternoon. So we may call it a day. I don't know, we may pick up this one and decide we just can't go home yet. We're going to see it. But thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed talking with Capt. Wayne.